Hey, this is Kat. I wish you could see me in the rearview mirror because I look much better than I do now. Anyway, I'm doing this video at night because I have a moment. A couple of days ago, it was the LA Marathon in Los Angeles. And I can't tell you how many people I spoke to did not know it was the LA Marathon. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the LA Marathon is one of the most prestigious marathons in America. I believe it's up there with the New York Marathon, the Boston Marathon, and then there's an LA Marathon. But how come majority of the citizens of Los Angeles did not know there was a marathon on Sunday? There was no proper advertising. There wasn't the normal signs, like highway signs that they put on the street that says on Sunday between this hour and these hours, there's going to be a marathon, which is going to incur tons of traffic. It didn't happen. In other words, the stewardship of implementing a system showing that the mayor or the politicians that run the city know what they're doing by informing the citizens that there is a major, oh my gosh, I lost my light. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I'm cheating. That there's a major event happening affecting the entire city, buses, people going to and from work, going to church, going to the park, going to the doctors, whatever they were doing on Sunday. Thousands, maybe even millions of Angelenos were, for lack of a better word, asked out because we have a lackluster mayor who's more concerned with going to India and being an ambassador there than being the mayor of this great city. You know, we spent a ton of money with the, oh my goodness gracious, with the recall of Gavin Newsom. I'm going to have to start the car because I'm going to run out of battery. And unfortunately, I think my light, oh my God. My light is in my storage unit. But anyway, let's get back to the point. God, I look so good in the rearview mirror, but I look like shit on this camera. Let's get back. Sorry. I'm so tired. I'll ramble. Our ambassador to India, who used to be the mayor of Los Angeles, checked out a long time ago. Obviously. But the marathon was just like the last straw. I've been doing a lot of driving recently, and I happen to notice, and if you live in LA, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you're on the freeways, you'll see these huge signs that say, conserve water, extreme drought. They've had that up, even though it rained a couple of Mondays ago, which was great. But what I'm trying to say is they have those signs in certain highways. Why don't they have signs saying there's a marathon through major thoroughfares in Los Angeles that might I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I need water too. That might impede your ability to get around on Sunday between, let's say, midnight the night before, which was Saturday, to 3 p.m. on Sunday or past it. So many people were driving. And the other funny thing is the apps didn't even understand that there was a marathon. So all these geniuses, these driving apps, people were stuck. People were waiting for lifts. They were waiting for Ubers. They didn't understand what the hell was going on. It was the LA Marathon. And again, our ambassador to India, allegedly, who's too busy living that future selfie lifestyle to do his job as the mayor, as the steward of Los Angeles. I'm not going to say that, but I'll just say this. A great leader, if they can't be the leader anymore, they get someone to be the leader. And it feels like Garcetti checked out on LA a long time ago. Garcetti's very slick. He looks good in suits. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, he doesn't have the balls to get things done. And let me bring up another point in regards to this city. The homeless situation is a mental illness issue. And I'm going to say this. Los Angeles is obviously mentally ill. And I've decided on this because I don't know about you, but occasionally I watch the hoarding show. And when I watched that, it taught me some valuable lessons. I have to look at myself. Why do I have certain things? Why do I hold on to certain things? And when is it time to let things go? You know, that's something about being self-aware. That's something about being growing and learning about yourself. It's also what I call doing the work. But when you watch these shows and you see the people, a lot of times you see people who are stuck in a moment of time where they're trying to hold on to that memory of what was. So they kept all the crap. It could be cars. It could be memorabilia. It could be buying dolls. It could be buying pets and not taking care of the pets and them dying and having skeletons everywhere. But those are all forms of mental illness. And I see that as someone trying to keep things, to keep them, I don't want to say, in a way, warm. Keep them, they feel like they have something. You know what I'm saying? They think they have some control over things that they really don't have control over. And when I look at LA, especially since I came back from New York, LA has a hoarding problem. We have all these people coming here. And some people supposedly are dropped off by other states. I don't know. We need more factual evidence on that. But what happens is, if they come here with no direction, with no mental health stability, and with drug addiction, there's always somebody to offer you drugs here. Always. Every corner on the street, every party you go to, every restaurant, anybody literally will say to you, hey, if you need something, I have something. Each person has to have the wherewithal to make decisions to say yes or no. Well, some of the things that happens here is that somebody comes here with big dreams. They go to the wrong place. They take the wrong drug and they're messed up forever. That can happen. And one of the things that I noticed recently when I took the subway is that people were smoking with those lighters, the blowtorches. I don't know what it was. Some form of drugs through the aluminum can. It could be laced with fentanyl. It could be meth. It could be heroin. It could be crack. It could be a combination of a bunch of drugs. But the problem is their smoking affects everyone around them because nobody knows if most of the drugs are cut with fentanyl. And fentanyl is extremely dangerous. It just takes a little amount to really literally kill you and other people. So I noticed that they're doing fentanyl, or sorry, excuse me. They're smoking drugs on the subway, in the subway cars, on the subway platforms, and the cops don't do jack shit. To me, that's unacceptable. It's like if I was a parent and I just had a kid and I just let them piss on people's shoes because I didn't want to do my job. I don't see any different than what's happening in LA. If people are mentally ill, if they have drug addictions, if they're homeless, if they don't want help, we still have to be stewards to those people. If you come into my house, if something happens in my house, I'm responsible for the person in my house. No? I don't know. It seems like we're living in a society where no one has responsibility for their actions. You know what I mean? And nobody cares. But as the mayor, the steward of the city, he seems to be asleep at the Indian reservation, or I should say India reservation, of being the ambassador to India, which has a lot of homelessness, which is a whole nother weird story. But again, he's busy doing selfies. But what I'm saying is, LA is mentally ill. And we need to fix the mental illness problem. And I've said it before, I'm tired of hearing people complain about Reagan and that he closed the mental health studios, or not studios, excuse me, the mental health institutions. But it's 2021. We have so many empty buildings here. We can have mental institutions. And we can have mental institutions for people that are deemed severely mentally ill. And yes, we need to reform the system. But for severely mentally ill people who can't take care of themselves, who are roaming the streets screaming and ranting, I've seen people literally walking on the freeway towards traffic. And if you've never seen LA traffic at, let's say, 7 o'clock at night, because it's dark. It's now it's 8 o'clock around now. But it's extremely dark now because we fell backwards, okay? So a couple of nights ago, I saw a woman on the freeway close to the exit to the Staples Centers where the Lakers were playing, walking in traffic on the freeway during rush hour, holding pieces of palm trees in her hands, totally out of her mind. I don't know if the woman's alive or dead. I was going to call the police, but I was driving on the freeway, and I didn't even know exactly the spot she was in, because I was trying to merge safely to the right lane to get towards Staples. This is happening all the time, seeing people out of their mind, walking on the freeway or walking near the underpasses where when you're driving, you might interact with them or hit them because they're walking in traffic. But nothing's being done, really. We're just acting like we don't see it. To me, it's no different from Camille Cosby allowing her husband to rape women and drug them. Or Sandusky's wife, who said she didn't know what was going on in the basement with all those boys. Or a pope who closes his eyes to priests that are raping people, or children, and then moving them around. It's the same thing. It's not right. So these are some of my quick solutions to the issue. Again, for the people who are extremely mentally ill, we'll make mental institutions where they'll be housed and cared for. and given access to the best treatment that is on the market, as well as psychologically the best treatment that's coming out of the colleges and the most information that we have. We can have that. We can also have free drug addiction places or recovery places where people can get help 24/7. That would also provide jobs. Both those things would provide jobs. Thirdly, for people who are, relatively sane, but, struggling, we would have housing where each person is responsible for keeping their place clean, but also sharing in the community, keeping the building clean. So we have what's called SROs, single room occupancy buildings. So small apartments like they used to have in the 1930s when actors would stay and work on movies. Small rooms, maybe they would have bathrooms in the rooms or not. They would be down the hall, but each person has their own private bed. Now, the other weird thing that's going on in LA, there's these weird things called pods, where people are starting to live with strangers for long periods of time. I don't think that's mentally healthy. I think adults need privacy. And there's a lot of scam artists doing a lot of weird things where there's one company that's charging each person over $799 a month to live in a 3-bedroom apartment. Remember, a 3-bedroom apartment, but 10 people are staying there. 10 complete strangers that don't know each other are spending like over $800 a month, because I think there's some other fees and stuff, deposits. But they're living with strangers on top of each other in a 3-bedroom apartment. How the fuck is that legal? I mean, I'm so disgusted. And they're living, like, when I say on top of each other, there's a pod or a bed here, and then there's a bed beneath it, and there might be like a little, what do you call that, ladder or something, but there's no like closure. And it could be boys, girls, whatever, it doesn't matter, but they try to sell it as like a really hip, cool thing to do. Let's say you have an early call at 6 a.m. in the morning on a movie set, and your pod roommate likes to drink or come home and party late at 2. How's that going to work out? Not so much. But I think human beings need to have privacy. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's unfortunately, this city is so expensive that they're so greedy that they're willing to charge people over $800 a month to live like rats on top of each other, where 800 times 10 is $8,000 a month's rent for a 3-bedroom fucking apartment. And LA agreed upon that. How the fuck is that legal? Seriously. And you could have a crazy fucking roommate. What are you going to do? You're going to wait around till the manager decides to kick them out when they do something that's so dangerous that risks your life? This city is so fucking greedy and so fucking mentally ill. It does not take care of the people that run this fucking city. There are good people out there. They clean people's houses. They take care of people's kids. They cook your dinner. They deliver your food. They drive you places. They teach whatever. They make your nail. They get your nails. They do your nails. They do your makeup. I mean, I know my brain's thinking of instructors. There's tons of people that you never know their names that run this fucking city. They deserve better. They deserve to be able to ride the subway without being attacked, without having to smell weed, without having to smell crack, without being assaulted, without being sexually harassed, without being punched in the face because they're gay. All I'm saying is this city, Los Angeles, is mentally ill, and we do not have a mayor who cares enough about the city to do the right thing. We need to have housing now. We need to take over buildings, convert them into single room occupancy rooms, and have people who are trying to get a leg up have a chance and opportunity to save money, to keep their room clean, and to live without living like a rat. And I think when you give people a sense of respect and a sense of dignity and a sense of privacy, things will blossom in them. If you treat them with respect, you know what I'm saying? And if you say there are guidelines to what we're giving, I think you're planting the seeds for a better tomorrow. So I'm going to end this now because I'm going to ruin my battery. But let me know what you think. This is Cat Tales TV, but we need mayors that actually ride the fucking subway. Ride the subway. I dare any of you. I dare the mayor of Los Angeles. Ride the subway to Union Station. Oh my gosh. Let me do this again. That was God telling you to do this. Ride the subway. Let's see, I don't know, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. to Union Station. Or, for fun, do it later on the weekend. And see the fun stuff that's going on. People sleeping in the elevators. People smoking weed on the train. What do you call it? They tag. I saw a guy tag the ceiling of one of the subway, and he's wearing a Hertz jacket. What an idiot. People with no respect. Messing it up for the people who are trying to go to work, go to school. So, I'm ruining this car with this video. See what I do? So anyway, I'm really tired, so I'm going to shut up. But yeah, I dare anybody who's a politician. I dare the governor, Gavin Newsom. Ride the subways if you think we don't need policing of the subway. Ride it. Ride it in Los Angeles and see what I saw. It's very unsafe, and it smells like shit. It's a traveling toilet, which also means it's very unhygienic. Most of the homeless and the mentally ill and the drug addicts are not going to be wanting to wear a mask. They may not have the option of washing their hands, so when you sit down on it, you're sitting in whatever's going on, But again, instead of just complaining, I'm looking for solutions. But single room occupancy, I think, is a great opportunity to make change quickly. And there's so many empty buildings, and even some of the old buildings from the 1930s, if they're renovated, if they can be renovated, we can use them. And if we can't use them physically, we can use the floor plans to figure out how we can make buildings now better. But let's work together to solve it instead of just complaining and not doing anything. But there's going to be more violence and more crime and more deaths because we're not doing anything. We can't ignore the problem anymore. It's too dangerous. It affects so many people, and it affects tourism too. But But if, like I said, when you live in a tower and you never have to ride the subway, you never have to ride the metro, you don't really care what's happening in the street. But if you're a really good leader, if you're a really good mayor, you care about all the citizens of Los Angeles, not just your rich Hollywood friends. So this is Cat Tales TV. Love, peace, health. And check out my other videos. I'm going to work on more of a podcast because I think Joe Rogan sucks. Bye.